had my attention called to this article a couple of days ago. It's a recent article in the October 2013 issue of Essence magazine. And the subject matter kind of touches somewhat close to home, and I'll explain what I mean by that as I go along. But I decided I wanted to go ahead and address this on top of the other issue, mainly because this would actually serve as a good segue into a compilation project that I've been working on for the past couple of weeks already, which are still in the developmental stages, which are going to be uploaded onto my Kid Brother project channel, since it's not going to be anything sort of like a freestyle or extemporaneous type of a commentary, that it actually is going to be more of an outline and scripted presentation. But I say that this article hits somewhat close to home because this article was written by Jay Stone, and I'm sure that a number of folks now are familiar with that name, given the fact that she received a lot of blowback relatively recently, which is essentially what this article is about. She's more or less relating her experiences and how she felt about all the negative browbeating that she received based upon an article which she references here in this article. And so, just that I don't waste any more time on this, because it's not really deserving of such a long-winded preamble, I'll just go ahead and read through certain highlighted sections of this article, and I'll periodically pause to drop occasional commentary here and there. So in starting off, she opens her little boohoo pity party article thusly, quote, "As a full-time blogger, I often use my life experiences to explore the theme of self-love." And I'm going to end the quote at that sentence for right now, because she's setting the stage, showing you where this is coming from. See, it's more of that woe is me pity party stuff. Nobody loves me, so I have to love myself because I can't convince anybody else to love me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare my self-love for myself is so great that everybody else should just automatically swoon and sway into my whole euphoric self-love for myself that'll just ooze over into everybody else, so that they can give me the same sort of praise and accolades that I give to myself, because I'm deserving, because I'm special, because everybody's special. So you can see already I'm not really feeling this woman right now. So continuing, quote, "Over the years, I've received plenty of positive feedback from women, many of whom have told me that I make them feel less alone." Again, stopping the quote. So we see where she's going again. Woe is me, love me, love me, love me, and oh, all you other lonely sisters out there who don't get your share of massive waves of love and acceptance and appreciation and worship and honor and idolization, you're not alone. Here, let me pat you on the head and grab you by the shoulders and say, you're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. Even if you're a lousy person who's dumb as a bag of rocks and nobody cares to give the time of day to. But see, you have to delude yourself into believing that you're so much more than what you really are, and that people should just appreciate you based upon your own little self-delusion. Continuing the next sentence, quote, "All that changed in April when I wrote a piece for Essence.com called 'I Didn't Give Up on Black Men, They Gave Up on Me.' In the article, I explored the challenges I've had dating black men and lamented that many of them reject us for being too dark, having short hair, or being plus size." Stopping the quote there. So now we see where she's going with this, right? It's not just a woe is me, I'm a poor pitiful black woman who needs to pump herself up and to give her ego a boost because I just have low self-esteem about myself and nobody gives black girls any sense of pride and self-worth. Nope, it's blame the black man, yet again. And why is she blaming the black man? Well, she said it here in that little side quote, which she incorporated into this sentence. Let me read it again. Quote, "I explored the challenges I've had dating black men and lamented that many of them, subquote, reject us for being too dark, having short hair, or being plus size," unquote, close quote. In other words, it's black man's fault that I'm ugly, or that they think I'm ugly. No, black men can't have preferences. No, black men must be open-armed and accepting and just totally agreeable to go out with whatever steps on his front doorstep. He should have absolutely no standards whatsoever, because all women are good women. regardless of the fact that they have short hair, which as a standard rule, men in general like women with long hair, and that's men of all races and cultures, and also as a general rule, especially in our Western society, we don't like plus-sized women, which is code word for a fat, waddling walrus whale hippo. But look at how sneaky and cunning and conniving that she is. She will place things like long hair and body mass, which are things that each individual can actually do something about. They can dictate what type of body shape and mass that they have and what length of hair that they can sport. But she compounds that with something that is totally unalterable. So she throws the whole light skin, dark skin argument into the equation as a way of trying to gain sympathy. So see, overlook all this other stuff, which are things I can actually do to make a change, and just accept that as just another one in a long line of things that you just have to accept, and if you don't accept them, you're a bad person. You're insensitive. See how that works? So no, black men are not supposed to have standards. Black men are always supposed to scrape the bottom of the barrel. And when they don't, that's when we get the accusations, there are no good black men are dogs, or niggas ain't shit, or all black men think of us as are just booty calls. Well, welcome to the real world, because as long as you keep playing the part, you're going to be treated accordingly. If you want to be treated like a genuine treasure, you have to present yourself as a genuine treasure. This whole thing about guilt tripping and shaming black men into accepting something that they don't want to accept because they're not attracted to it is not their fault. Look at yourself in the mirror, because I'll bet you that's where the problem really lies. Continuing with the next quote. Within hours of the piece going up, the insults began. You could stand to lose a few pounds, posted someone who called herself Lola. Looking at your picture, can you blame them? Added Kayla. When links to my story appeared on The Root and Madame Noir, things really got out of hand. Every fat woman I've ever known lived in denial, just like you, blasted Quiet Thoughts 2. Readers Googled images of me and posted the pictures in comment threads so that everyone could chime in on how obese or undesirable they thought I was. Stopping the quote there. Yeah. And? So let me see. You, in trying to reshape everybody's thinking to suit your own agenda, when you find out that people aren't going to swallow your BS, that makes them the mean ones, that makes them the bad guys for calling you out for your self-delusion? Look, live in denial all you want to. Just don't try to pass it off onto everybody else as something that's normal and routine, and that should just be applauded and treated as something special. Because it's not. Next sentence, quote, At first, I tried to respond to the comments, but it was all too much. These readers were tagging my Facebook fan page, insulting me on Twitter, and posting one hateful jab after another. Someone even created a YouTube video dedicated to ridiculing me. Stopping the quote there. And this is where I say this article hits somewhat close to home, because the video that she's making reference to was recorded and posted by a personal friend of mine. I know the video in which she speaks, and I know the person who was responsible for that video. This person is a close friend of mine, both online and offline. And in her deceptive little manner, what Jay Stone is trying to deceive everybody into believing was that this uploaded video was all intended for no other purpose than just to make the uploader feel good about themselves by taking advantage of poor little Miss Jay Stone crapping on her and making her feel bad and bringing down her day. Because it was all just done in diss and in mockery, totally missing the point. And the point was, you posted a blog entitled I didn't give up on black men, they gave up on me, and she confronted you with yourself by saying, no dear, you didn't give up on black men because they gave up on you. Black men gave up on you because you gave up on yourself. You're the one who decided that you wanted to be a cheeseburger away from being bedridden. You're the one who wanted to go around making excuses for why you couldn't conform yourself to be more visually appealing to the opposite sex, who, when they wish to get intimately involved with someone of the opposite sex, are impressed mainly and primarily by the visual cues they receive from that member of the opposite sex. Men are visual creatures.
We don't give a crap about your personality until we first start wondering, what do you look like out of that blouse? Or at the very least, could we envision ourselves walking hand in hand down the street with this person, or draping my arms across her shoulders? Would I be proud to be seen by this person? Would I have to actually fight off other men because I think she's so special that I would actually want to hold on to her that much? Because we do think she looks that good. And if she's got a stunning personality to go along with it, then all the more reason to feel proud. But you are getting called out for being delusional and for trying to lay the guilt trip on black men for not accepting you because you don't want to put forth the effort to actually attract a black man. Or at least not the kind of black man who would actually, what is that song? Catch a grenade for you? Because believe me, ain't no man out there gonna catch a grenade for some 400-pound waddling massive blob. We don't care how sweet her personality is. So continuing to next sentence, quote, "The article went up on a Thursday, and by Saturday I had to shut down all my social media accounts." Stopping the quote there. No, you didn't. You didn't have to shut down a damn thing. The problem is you didn't think you were going to get the negative blowback that you got because you thought you were going to preach some touchy-feely, I'm okay, you're okay, and everybody's okay, and we all deserve the same amount of love, and we all deserve the same degree of acceptance, and we all should be equally idolized and held to the highest esteem and have our egos stroked all the same. But see, this is the real world, dear. Not all people are created equal. Not in the dating game, they're not. I'm a skinny, scrawny, pale-skinned, Jack Skellington-looking, however anybody wants to label me. Now granted, there ain't jackrabbit I can do about my pasty pale skin except maybe get out in the sun a little bit more. But all that other stuff, I don't have to be skinny and scrawny. I can go to the gym and pump some weights. Or if I want to attract a kind of woman who's into fluffy guys, I can sit on my ass, become a couch potato, eat a whole bunch of saturated fat, and expand my 29-30 waist up to 42 or 52 waist. See, those are things I can change, should I decide I want to change them. And if there's a stated goal that I'm hoping to accomplish, which would require me to make those changes. So if I want to attract the kind of women that are into buff men, then damn it, I'd be out there racing Sergeant Willie Pete out to the weight room. And I'd be hogging up the place. But see, I'm comfortable in myself, so I don't choose to make those changes. But because I choose not to make certain changes, I have to deal with what life hands me. And if life in the real world says women like men who have a little bit of an athletic build or a little bit of a muscular build to them and who are cut trim, who are not skinny and scrawny, and I do not want to adapt to meet those needs, then the fault lies in my lap, not theirs, because they have a preference. I don't meet the preference, and I choose not to meet the preference. Same as you. You want to be 400 pounds and causing a minor shake on the Richter scale every time you take a step. That's your choice, and if nobody will accept you for that, that is also your fault, not theirs. You are not deserving of love just because you say that you are. You are not deserving of blind, empty acceptance just because you say you are. If you want to attract a certain type of mate or a certain type of date, you have to make yourself pleasantly appealing. And if you don't, sister, you chose the path that you wanted to travel down. Just watch out for the bumps in the road. And so this whole article continues on. I only read about half of the article in here. And she's going on and on talking about how all these mean people are treating her, how they're making her feel bad and all this good happy doodah stuff. But see, here's where she's also trying to get a little sneaky and conniving and accusatorial with this thing. Because see, all throughout this article, she's talking about all this negative blowback and feedback that she's been getting from her fellow sisters. See, she didn't title the article Mean People. She titled it Mean Girls. Because again, the sisterhood's supposed to stick together. Sisters are not supposed to present another woman with herself as she really, honestly, truly is. They're always supposed to support one another. They're always supposed to lift each other up. When in reality, I guarantee you that for all the meanness and for all the insults and for all the humiliation that she's talking about she had to endure because of uploading that article, I didn't give up on black men gave up on me. I guarantee you the vast majority of the people who had an issue with her, whom she had to field all this meanness and hatred from, were not from women. They were from the very black men that you dissed because they wouldn't swallow the guilt trip that you were trying to lay upon them, and they called you out on it. Now, the fact that there are some women out there who had enough ovaries about themselves to be real women and present you with yourself and called you out on your foolishness, they're to be commended for that. But that wasn't the source of your problems until you decided to make it the source of your problems because you thought that you were deserving of just blanket acceptance and pats on your back from your little pity party from your global network of loving, honorable, and caring girlfriends. See, you didn't want to be faced with yourself and have a mirror held up to your face when it was members of your own sisterhood who were essentially trying to reel you back into reality. You know, that is the ultimate sin. So that's why you wrote this article in Essence magazine crapping on these so-called mean girls when you know damned well the bulk of all the negative feedback that you kept getting, that you're whining and hollering and complaining about, came from black men. Because you thought that you were going to shove them in front of the train and that by doing so you were going to be paraded around as the hero. Then when everything backfired in your face and you ended up falling flat on your fat ass, you still didn't want to acknowledge that everything everybody was trying to tell you was the truth, as harsh as they may have done it at times, but essentially they were telling you, wake the hell up and stop deluding yourself. If you need somebody to blame in this thing, look in the mirror. Now, if you don't want to make the changes that will give you the kind of attention and acceptance that you feel that you deserve, don't whine and complain that you don't get the kind of acceptance and attention that you feel you deserve, because your personal choices dictate that you really don't want it. Actions speak louder than words. But you live in denial, and you want to keep living in denial, as stated in the opening of the closing paragraph to your article, quote, "I know now that I can't stop cyberbullying, but I can reject the message," close quote. So see, that's all it comes down to. You don't want to take any personal or responsibility for your own life choices or for how you present yourself to the world at large. No pun intended. And as long as you want to keep living in that denial, then you're going to continue to get people calling you out as someone who's living in denial. If you want to accept it, fine. If you want everybody else to accept it, you're not only wasting your time, you're being excruciatingly dishonest and entirely unrealistic. Wake up to life in the real world by waking up to yourself as you really and truly are, and stop slumming for acceptance that if you were honest enough with yourself, you yourself would know you don't truly deserve, because you're not doing anything to earn it. End of line.